Today's episode is sponsored by NerdWallet's Smart Money Podcast. Life comes with big money questions. Are target date funds a smart or lazy way to invest? Should you pay off debt or invest extra cash? Can you deduct your dog as a home security system on your taxes? NerdWallet's Smart Money Podcast has the answers. Their finance journalists break down investing strategies, tax planning, and smart ways to build wealth and navigate big financial decisions. Work smarter, not harder, on your finances this year. Follow NerdWallet's Smart Money Podcast wherever you listen.
Welcome to Living by Oak Values. My friend Gary and I will guide you through aligning your actions with your core beliefs. We are excited to share these stories, insights, and values that will guide your lives. Whether you're a longtime listener or new here, welcome. Visit Northman Coaching for your free toolbox and updates. Let's dive in. Happy listening.
And today's episode is on motivation. Motivation is the drive to achieve your goals or needs. It is something that arises action or activity. And today's guest, we have Aurora and Jenna, who are the hosts of the Macros and Muscles podcast. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listening to your podcast, and since today's topic is on motivation, what do y'all do to stay motivated and work towards your goals?
Something that can keep you motivated is really just getting into a good habit, because setting yourself up with good habits is going to be a great way to start developing a good routine. And, something just as simple as getting one walk in a week, or something, wherever you are on the spectrum of fitness or health, there's always something that you can do to improve. And motivation is one of those things that's fleeting. You can feel motivated, you can feel unmotivated, but the common denominator there is that action is what is going to propel you forward to reaching your goals. Discipline is where some motivation can come from. It can feed off of each other. Even if you're not motivated, you can discipline yourself by still doing that action. And by doing so, you're going to create a good momentum to keep yourself hopefully motivated.
Yeah, that's something that we talk about. I think we've talked about a lot. And it's something that I talk about with clients almost every day, because sometimes people will come to me or come to us and say, I'm just not feeling motivated. But I thing. So how do I get started? And I always say that you can't just wait around to feel ready, because ready isn't a feeling, it's a decision. And the only way to produce motivation is through action. So you have to start first, even when you don't want to. You have to push through that resistance, because that just doing that one thing, like Aurora said, is going to build momentum. And that momentum is going to give you results. And then those results will give you motivation. And then you've got that snowball and it's kind of rolling, which creates inertia, which I think we did like a whole episode on. And if you just think about like that principle of physics, it's an object in motion tends to stay in motion. The same is true for us. When we start acting in alignment with our goals, creating those habits and putting in those reps, you're creating inertia, which in turn, kind of feeds that motivation. And it's just like a healthy cycle.
It's actually crazy you said that, because my biggest thing with keeping motivation when working out is days like today where it's cold and I just skip. And then if I skip today, you know what? It's cold tomorrow too. I'm going to skip tomorrow. And then next thing you know, I haven't been working out for 2 weeks. I'm like, now I have to get back into it. But it's, once you're in motion, stay in motion. Just how do you stay motivated in this weather?
Well, I don't work out outside.
Okay.
I also don't work outside. So I know it must be so much harder in your situation where you're working outside and you're expending, first of all, you have a very active job.
Mm-hmm.
You're expending a ton of energy, and that counts for a lot. That counts for a real lot. And so I think whatever, and that kind of goes for everybody. We have to look at what we do for a living, right? Somebody that has an active job whether you're, doing what you do, Gary, or if you're a food service worker or a bartender, a nurse, someone that's on their feet and running around all day is going to have, some different things to deal with than somebody that's sitting at a desk. But both people can feel very unmotivated. But speaking strictly about the weather, one thing I like to tell people, especially people that are trying to break out of that sedentary lifestyle and get their steps in, because they'll often, complain about the weather, is I say, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, go to a super Walmart, go to some place that has just lots of space for you to get some steps in. You can just walk up and down the aisles. I find that very helpful because a lot of my clients, are barely moving, only getting like maybe 2, 3, 4,000 steps a day at most. And I'm not gonna, recommend people walk outside and risk slipping and falling on ice. So that's usually what I'll recommend in that case.
Okay. So what is one lesson that you learned the hard way that you wish you had known earlier?
I think that kind of what we already touched upon, which is what Jenna said, you're never going to be ready for something. I find that when you look back and you're like, wow, I could have started something sooner. If I did start sooner, I would be this much ahead. If and and but, right? So I think that in Gary, what you said about how it can snowball, you're stopped going to the gym for 2 weeks now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say. So I think what is powerful about the snowball effect is that there's negative and positive when it comes to it. You can be in a positive snowball, you can be in a negative snowball. But I think what's really empowering when we look at motivation is that, you can look and say, I've been out of the gym, I've been out of activity for 2 weeks now. But if you start tomorrow or the next opportunity you have, you're not out of the gym 2 weeks anymore. So it's as simple as just that. And it doesn't have to be, a workout where you're covered in sweat and your heart rate's through the roof. It's just about getting that movement in or whatever it is for your goal. So it's important to look at the perspective because getting that one workout in after 2 weeks off is definitely always going to be better than never getting it in at all and then never going to the gym again or something like that. So it's, I think, important with motivation to look at the balance of it because are we going to be perfect all the time as a normal human? I don't think so.
Yes.
But can we, right? But can we strive for that? And can we make a mistake and does it have to derail all of our progress? No, it can if we let it, but we don't have to let it. And that's where mindset comes in. But I think that motivation doesn't have to be so advanced. It doesn't have to. It can come from within. It can come from outside. But the whole thing is we got to make it happen.
You could even negotiate with yourself too. It's like you don't have to say, all right, I'm going to spend an hour at the gym tomorrow. I'm going to do this, this, and this. It could just be, I'm going to walk through the door and I'm going to do one set of leg press. And then if I want to leave, I'll leave. But chances are you're going to stay,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Yeah, exactly. So just not forcing yourself to adhere to super high standards because just getting in there, doing anything is going to be better than nothing and doing anything to break that cycle, And in the future, too, I always like to recommend never let, if you don't do whatever habit you're trying to develop, just don't let it happen twice in a row.
Okay.
And that's going to help to make sure that we don't end up with, weeks and weeks or months out of practice.
Gotcha.
And I think that can also go in line with food too, because if we set ourselves up with a crazy clean or very different than what we're used to eating kind of diet, then we're going to be less motivated to stick with it and less motivated to those things. If we put together a template for us of things we like, how we can massage those things out to balance into something that's, good for us overall, then we're going to be more motivated to keep doing it, especially if it's something that we like to eat. We're going to keep wanting to eat it.
Okay. So on that note of eating, I just got Rob a juicer because I've been juicing. And I thought it would be kind of gross, but I'm actually enjoying it. So every morning I juice my beets, my cucumbers, spinach, kale, apples, blueberries, strawberries, broccoli, and cauliflower. That's like my breakfast, and I love it. And today for lunch I had cucumber pineapple salad.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are you using fresh or frozen produce?
Fresh.
Fresh?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've never tried that. Sounds good.
really good.
Yep. And Rob, didn't we just talk about on a podcast about the guy that went to the gym and then left, just kept showing up every day and leaving?
Mm-hmm.
What was that? What were we talking about there?
Actually, I don't know. You're the one who brought it up.
Yeah. There was a story about a guy who would go to the gym and then leave just to create the habit of going to the gym. Kind of like what you had said about doing the leg press and leaving. But he would go to the gym and leave. And then after a month of going to the gym every day and leaving, he would stick around and do a couple sets of whatever and then increase it because he already had the habit of going to the gym. Now he just has to do something while he's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was great, because that's, for me, that is the hardest part of working out, is getting my ass out of bed or getting to the gym or whatever.
And that is definitely a lot of the hardest part for most people. It's not, doing the workout, or it's really just showing up for themselves because they're not motivated maybe, or they don't think they're ready. But we're never going to be ready. There's never going to be a perfect time. We have to just do it. And we have to have that mental decision in our head that there's something that we need to do. There's something that we need to change, and let's start.
Yeah. I don't know who said this, but I've heard it before that the heaviest weight in the gym is the front door.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can just open that door, you're going to be well on your way. So I love that story about that guy.
Okay.
Gary, that was good.
I mean, I didn't create it. I just remember reading it, and we discussed it a few months ago, I think it was now, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So one of the biggest fears I normally come across is not meeting my own expectation of where I expect to be in a time frame and knowing, oh, I won't be able to reach it. What is something that y'all have faced recently, and how did y'all overcome it?
Well, I mean, I think we've all been there. We all have expectations, right? And a lot of times those expectations are unrealistic and it leads to disappointment. And we're used to getting things quickly. We want things fast. So this is one of the areas in life that there's just no quick fix. There's no way around putting in the work, and it just takes time. So I think that that's just something that, be aware of and kind of adjust our expectations and not look, comparing, because a lot of times I often hear people say, well, I thought, it's how I can lose 2 pounds a week. And I have to explain to people that that's not necessarily going to happen. And that's not actually the rate of loss that is going to be the healthiest, best approach. And getting people to understand that, losing half a pound or, 0.3 in a week is progress. So that can be a really tough conversation or a tough concept for us to really understand.
I think on top of what Jenna said too, speaking kind of more broadly, but I think a really good way to go through them fully, whatever it is that you're going through, to feel your emotions, feel the good, the bad, because that is gonna be what leads you to the realizations, the revelations that you'll need, I believe, in order to get you where you're going to be going. I don't think it's beneficial to look away or shy from things that are right in front of us, good or bad, because it is meant to teach us something. It's meant for us we need to grow from whatever it is that we're going through. And I know, I'll bring up an example of when I was playing soccer in high school, I had injured my knee, and it led me to have a knee surgery, and I was out of soccer, out of commission for basically the next season, I was sophomore going in my junior year, and it basically derailed the whole rest of my soccer career. And I played soccer my whole life and decade plus before that. So it was something that I didn't expect was going to happen. I know that, of course you can doing anything, but I didn't think that I would have to deal with that, of course. And so I wasn't prepared for that. And I was in shock. I couldn't play my sport. I wasn't in the same routine. I not only didn't have the motivation, I physically couldn't move, right? So how do we overcome something like that? And when you're dealing with things like that, when you're physically experiencing it, you're dealing with a lot of emotions, and it's turmoil. It's inner turmoil because you can't do what you normally want to do or are supposed to be doing. And so instead of blocking it out or trying to believe what happened to me wasn't happening to me, I had to feel all the sadness and the, frustration of like, I could have just been playing my next game, getting ready for that. But no, I have to be getting ready for surgery. So I took that all as it was. I, digested that, and it was years actually until I got back into shape, back onto the field. And before I felt confident enough and fit, like I was in the same or, at the same level. So it is never fun, right? It's not fun to be going through something negative. But as a human, it's very natural to experience things that are not pleasant to us. And when we become comfortable with things that we don't want to go through, things that make us uncomfortable, not pleasurable things, that's what makes us grow. If I didn't have that experience of having an injury, having to overcome it, and having to put a lot of hard work into getting where I wanted to be, I think I would be a totally different person. Would I wish anyone having a knee surgery or any injury? No, but we all are on this path. We're all given these cards because we're meant to learn from it. And I do genuinely believe that, because we all are on a unique path. We are all made up of stardust and have all these people that we're connected to and be able to impact and connect with. So everything that we experience, it goes into our human, and hopefully we can output good things and overcome these things by feeling them and going through them and not shying away from the hard things.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you both for sharing. Appreciate it.
Well, I know the answer to this next question based on your most recent podcast. How do you celebrate your achievements, both big and small?
Eating chocolate.
I knew it.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
I'm taking your advice, and I'm going to celebrate my achievement of not freezing to death.
We're proud of you.
Thanks.
Definitely. Well-earned Oreos. Not that we need to earn them, but you know what I mean.
It's better that they're earned. So other than chocolate or whatever, what do you guys do to celebrate your wins? Or even for your clients, how do you tell them to celebrate their wins?
I mean, we cheer each other on. I think sharing your accomplishments with the people that care about you is, a great thing. I know that like I can share things with Aurora that I've, gym accomplishments, whatever, and vice versa. And we're always going to cheer each other on. And same thing with my clients when they text me victories. I almost said like little victories, but it's not little. They think it's little, but I try to amplify for them. Sometimes I'll get a text and it'll be like, this may sound silly, or I know this isn't a big deal, but blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, not a big deal. Are you kidding me? This is amazing. And just kind of highlighting for them how important all these things are. Because you can't berate yourself into change. It has to come from a place of positivity, or it's just not going to last. So I think it's really important to celebrate all your victories, big and small, even if it's something like I got out of bed on the first alarm, or I made my bed. You know what I mean? It could be as basic as that.
Yeah, I agree. We share verbally with each other or videos, of our accomplishments in the gym, or when we're sticking to a good habit. Posting to Instagram is great, but also another way to celebrate your accomplishment is to give yourself grace to continue working for your goals, because by celebrating what you are accomplishing, you are also feeding into that snowball of positive momentum to increase your motivation.
Dang, that's pretty slick.
It's actually crazy how the work that you guys do compared to the work that Rob and I do, and it's all the same almost. Like we celebrate the wins with our clients all the time. And I love that, you know, when you said give yourself grace, like that is a huge. And earlier you were talking about the quick fix. We have so many, well, not so many, but we have clients that, you know, they just want the quick fix. They want to be better. They want to get over issues, but they don't want to do the work. And then they realize once they do the work that it's not the quick fix anymore. Now it's the real fix. This is it. You are actually changing because you're doing the work. So you can fake it all day long, but if you don't do the work, you're faking it. Once you put that work in, you're making that change.
And in my experience, please show me no otherwise. But in my experience, I found that the long road is the only way that's going to keep you consistent and reach your goals, if that's what you want to do. Not the short one.
I haven't seen the short road yet.
No.
If I find it, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
It's a long, bumpy road, though. It's not.
Yeah, that it is.
Which is why I think coaching, whether it's for, you know, life coaching or fitness coaching or whatever it is can be really beneficial because it is a long road, yeah. But with a good coach, you can avoid certain obstacles. You can make sure that you're taking the best route. You know, just get there a little bit faster than you would if you were on your own.
So, speaking of route, there was a time in Asheville that I was following a bunch of guys up and down the mountain, and it was snowstorm, horrible snowstorm. And actually, I was behind Gary, and every guy in front of me was falling down. But because I was following them, I knew where not to fall down. And it's just like, that's how this kind of work goes, is that it's like you're helping the person behind you not fall down.
And if they do, you're there to help them get up back up.
I'm just there to laugh at you because you fell down so many times.
Did I really? I don't remember.
Yes, you did, man. Everybody was falling down. We were like,
except for you. Except for you.
Yeah, well, I was following in your footsteps, so.
How long of a hike was that?
That's that one where you stripped at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the middle of the
I didn't
winter.
get naked. I just took my shirt off.
It was pretty cold, though.
It was freezing. It was snow covered. It was probably, it wasn't Mount Washington, that's for sure. I mean, it had to be maybe 5-10 miles at most. It was a good half a day hike.
That's good.
Yeah. So Rob, Jenna was going to do Aurora was going to do Mount Washington this past summer, and she chickened out.
Yes. We it was a little bit more impromptu than planned. And we wanted to climb Mount Washington, but we are going to do that next time. Checked it out. It was cool. We didn't drive up or anything. It was beautiful. And we were there like Labor Day weekend, and great temperature. But yeah, we're going to hike it next time because we were a little unprepared.
Did you take the cog train?
No.
That is cool looking. The worst part about hiking it, though, is you hike it all the way to the top, and then you got all these tourists in flip-flops sitting there with a sign going, yeah, I hiked the top. And you're like, no.
You got to wait your turn in line to get your picture next to the sign. You're like, what? There should be 2 signs. One for hikers, one for tourists.
We climb this mountain. We take it first.
Right, exactly.
On the list, though.
If you do it, or when you do it, let me know when you're done. And do not invite me.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
They told you it was hard, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Everybody was like, oh my God, it's so hard. My boyfriend, he's done it like once or twice. And so, I think we'll be able to do it. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It was really hard at the very top when you get to the rocks. Like the last, was it 5 miles maybe? When you're like, there's no end in sight, but there's no trees. There's nothing left but rocks. And there's like no markers. You're like, when do we get here?
Well, we got lost for an hour. We were up and down the mountain for an hour. Yeah.
Got to have the faith, right? Keep going.
Yeah, we had faith, and the people in front of us, that was bad faith. Rob and I followed a group of hikers up the top, or up so far, and this lady gets to the top of I don't know where, and she looks back. And she's like, "We're on the wrong spot. We got to turn around." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no."
Just what you want to hear.
No.
Yeah, like that's the last time I followed them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know Rob asked you earlier, but weren't recording. What is a book that you recommend to your clients?
I'm going to go ahead and say I'm a philosophy addict. So we can start with the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It's a good start to have some perspective.
I have that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can I mention a couple?
Yes,
ma'am.
please.
All right. So for motivation, I would say Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule would probably be my top. That book was what helped me to stop being the person that had to set 10 alarms on my phone to get up in the morning. And just it really, you can use that technique in literally any aspect of life. So, yeah, that would be my top recommendation. And then another one would be, I'm sure you're all going to be like, yes, I know it's so popular, but Atomic Habits by James Clear. That's great
That was the
too.
book, Rob.
Oh,
The guy that went to the gym. Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits.
oh, I don't remember that story.
Yep, that was the book.
See, it goes to show you how long ago I read that, but I'm still, I follow him on Instagram. He puts out a lot of good information.
Yep, definitely a good book. So,
Mm.
what was the other book you said earlier? Now you're changing your.
Yeah, because as I thought about it more, well, because you specifically said, what do I recommend to clients? So those would be two that I would definitely recommend to clients. But for myself, I think I really loved David Goggins' both books, but his first book, Can't Hurt Me. I personally find his story to be very motivating.
What was it? What's his second book? Do you know?
Never finished.
Rob, what was that Navy SEAL book that I read that I told you to read?
I never finished it.
What was it? What it was? I don't see it in my collection here.
Embrace the suck, brother.
Yes, Embrace
yeah.
the Suck.
Yes.
God, that was so good. Have you guys read that one?
I've heard of it because I've heard that saying, embrace the suck. Like it's newer, right?
I don't even know.
I thought he only had two. So I'm gonna have to look
That's
into
a different
that.
author.
Oh, okay.
That's Brent Gleason. Why don't you guys go and plug yourself where we can find you guys? Let everybody know where you are, where they can find your podcast, what you do, so they can reach out and hire you if they want to. Yeah, like most of our listeners and clients, they're all going through divorce and they all want to get in shape and be better people. So
Awesome. So, well, our Jenna and I's podcast, it's on Spotify and YouTube now as well. YouTube video and audio. And on Spotify is just the audio.
Nope, it's video too.
Oh, it's video. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we usually post our episodes every Monday. We always love to hear people's feedback, whatever they would like to talk about or whatever they would like to hear us talk about. We do taste tests, anything that has to do with health, fitness, wellness, and what's going on with us. You can find me on Instagram. I'm at Groovy Rory and I'm at Aurora's Energy Exchange. And we love to help people feel good, try and improve their body, their mind, whatever we can do to help make people's lives healthy. We are always game to do that. So
excellent.
Yep. And my Instagram is Jenna_Bernard on Instagram.
So how do people hire you as a coach, Jenna?
Right in my profile, you can
from
either
Instagram.
you can just send me a DM. There's also a link to my intake, where just gets your basic information. I get an email and then I get right back to you. And I offer one-on-one coaching. So that's, usually a 3-month minimum and then month to month after that. And I work with all kinds of people, men, women, people that have more than 100 pounds to lose. as well as people with less to lose. If you're on a GLP-1, or anything like that.
What's a GLP?
That's the weight loss drugs like Wegovy,
Oh,
Mounjaro, Ozempic.
gotcha.
So that is, super common these days. I have a lot of clients on those. So, and it's still really important to work on those habits, develop all of those healthy habits with nutrition and exercise so that you can maintain that weight loss.
Well, thank you for coming on and joining us today, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you
ladies.
so much for having us.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for having us. We were so happy to be part of this.
Yes.
We were happy to have you.
Um,
All right, so I have a quick story that I want to share with you two and to all the listeners. Before my divorce, I wouldn't say I was heavy. I wouldn't say I was I definitely was not overweight, but I was not in shape by any means. And I remember chasing my daughter down the stairs of my old apartment with no shirt on and taking my belly with my belly button and making like a face out of it, like a belly monster. I don't know. But then once I got divorced, I remember being like, I need to get in shape if I'm going to meet women. And that was my motivation at that point was I clearly was not married anymore. And I never thought I'd have to get back out into the dating world, but I was like, I probably should get in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what my motivation was when I first started getting in shape.
And has your motivation changed?
I'm still motivated to stay in shape.
Mm-hmm.
It's days like today where it's very, very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And the winter months are very hard for me. I usually pack on about, that's not a lot, like 3-4 pounds maybe.
You stop it right there. Right? But
no, I've been the same weight for the last 10 years almost, except for in the winter, I gained about 3 or 4 pounds. And in the summer, I'll lose it.
I don't count anything less than 5 as being anything gained anyway.
Okay.
Because think about it. I mean, we fluctuate a lot,
Mm-hmm.
You can
Yeah.
fluctuate day to day. Have
But
a
I think
little
women
extra
fluctuate
sodium.
more, do they not?
That is true. That is true. All
So
right,
your
you've
5
got me
pounds
there.
is equal to my 3 pounds.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Perfect.
And
But go ahead.
I was going to say, Gary, so, your motivation to get fit was, to get back into the dating world, and your motivation still could be that. But since you've had that mindset to be motivated, it's normal and natural that our motivation, like our why, changes. Like your why right now might be to hike that mountain and to, do something with your daughter, and it might not. And so it's okay if our motivations change, but we're still on track to reach our goals, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, my motivation is no longer the dating world now. It's because I got into shape. I want to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
go ahead.
That reminds me of, I love when I hear Jenna's talk about her clients in the sense of like, sometimes her clients have goals that aren't, let's lose 10 pounds. It's let's be able to sit on the ground with our grandkids. So it's so nice that our motivations can change, or our reasons why, but we still might be going towards that outcome.
Rob, please share your story.
Yeah, my story is I lost a lot of weight too, but I lost it kind of quickly. And I think what she said, my motivation changed. And so how do I keep the weight loss now that it's harder to keep it off?
Because you already had that first initial like weight loss and success and accomplishment, right? So
yeah.
Now it's harder because it's more the rate of maybe progress that you'll see is gonna be less than when you had like more weight to lose. So that's the nitty-gritty.
It's also overcoming bad habits from the past. It's enjoying like fast food that I used to enjoy that I have to tell myself it's not so good fast food anymore. So
that kind of reminds me of what Jenna tells her clients when they ask her, how can I lose that last 10 pounds? How can I?
What's the answer?
Well, if it's truly the last 10 pounds, like let's say I'm talking about somebody that's at a very healthy body weight, but they maybe want to get to that next level. I kind of help them talk through their lifestyle and what they would have to give up in order to get there. And is it worth it? Because if you're already healthy, but you're just trying to, like, I don't know, you want a 6-pack, there's going to be a lot of sacrifice involved in that may or may not be worth it to you. And if it is worth it to you, okay, here's how to do it. But sometimes we just need to accept ourselves and realize that it may not be worth giving up, going out and getting ice cream with the kids, or, date night or something like that. It may not be worth it. But going back to what you were saying about how your motivation has changed, you have to find a new reason, a new why. And you might have to explore that for a while. You may not be able to just think of that off the top of your head, but you're going to have to think about, why do I want to get where I want to be? And what would my life look like if I didn't? And kind of map that out a little bit. And I think that will help you tease out a new reason. And also know that maintenance is always harder than losing the weight. Keeping it off is always going to be harder. And part of that is because it's not as exciting as when you're going through the loss and you're seeing the changes and you're getting that feedback. It's exciting. And then when you have to maintain it, it becomes boring and monotonous. But recognizing that and, finding that new why is going to help you get through that monotony and realize that, this is a lifestyle now that I need to maintain my habits in order to not go back.
Awesome. Thank you.
So Rob, what was your original why? Do you remember?
No, I don't. I know it started with a $5 bet. So.
Did you win?
I actually did, because I caught COVID. And that's a wrap. Thank you for hanging out with us today on Living by Oak Values. If you love what you've heard, hit the subscribe button and stick around for more inspiring conversations. Got thoughts or want to dive deeper? Share your story or snag a free session at northmancoaching.com. Oh, and if you got a story worth sharing, why not be a guest on the show? Drop us a line, we'll love to hear from you. And join us next week for another inspiring episode. Until then, keep embracing your values and stay authentic.